Hello, all you beautiful humans. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Looks like I need my clavicles adjusted. They look crooked. Things you hear massage therapists say. So they're just pulling everybody in. Today we're going to be talking about exfoliation. And I wore this fantastic color because my girlfriend Annika's like, oh my God, girl, that is your color. You need to wear it more often. So wearing this one for you today, Annika. So the reason I wanted to talk about exfoliation today, because as you know, one of the things I very much wholeheartedly and is literally like one of the biggest pillars in my aesthetics and skincare education is to really educate people about not using retinoids in the summer. So as many people know, retinoids, the reason why they make all the different strengths, it's because your skin gets used to it over time and you have to keep bumping up the strength to get the outcomes you want in the skin. Now, when you're younger, when you're 28, 29, no, you don't need to be maxing out on retinoids. But once you get into like those 30s, once the 0.5 quits functioning in the skin, you quit getting the results you want from it. You're not getting that brightness, that retinoid look, right? Then you got to bump up to the next strength because your skin gets used to it, just like nutritional supplements and all kinds of things like that. So because of that, you do need to give your skin a breather and you need to give it a break because you will eventually like max out or you can just overstimulate the skin. And it just has always made the most sense to me to take that break in the summertime because it absolutely 100% does make you more sun sensitive. And I learned this the hard way myself. One summer after I had my child, it had been months and I was back on retinoids and I was loving the way my skin looked, and I didn't take my own advice or follow the education that I had been taught for years. And I didn't stop my retinoids that summer. To top it off, just so you guys know, I lived in Seattle. So summer's like a month and a half up there. It wasn't even like I was in California. I was in Seattle. And I still was really good about sunscreens and wearing my hats. But that summer, I walked away with more pigment on my skin than I'd ever walked away with before. So would that have probably happened to me if I was in my early 20s? No, but I was 36 at that time. And no, it was not a hormonal issue with having my child. It had been over a year by that point because I'd had him of June the summer before that. And so I just really, really encourage people to stop using retinoids. So because of that, you've got to find more creative ways to keep your skin exfoliated because you do miss the benefits of having those retinoids on your tissues. So I want to go over different like exfoliation properties today. I know I've talked about exfoliation on my page a lot, but I have found that I gain new followers and like lots of times we have to hear things multiple times. Thank you so much, Gina. She told me my earrings are gorgeous. That I do realize that I have to keep repeating information so people really understand it and get it, okay? So here's the thing. I totally understand that when you stop using the retinoids, you're like not crazy about not having the retinoids on my skin. And for some people, especially you have more acneic skin type or you have acne, you start breaking out a little bit when you take those retinoids out of your routine. So there's a couple things you can do. The first thing is you can go on a retinoid alternative. Retinoid alternatives is more of like a term and doesn't really explain. People can get frustrated with the term retinoid alternatives because retinoid alternatives don't always function like retinoids in the skin, but they're still classified as a retinoid alternative so the general public can kind of understand the purpose of them more. So your retinoid alternatives are going to be any type of alpha hydroxy acid products. They don't force cellular turnover by speeding it up deeper down into the tissues and the dermis. That's what retinoids and retinol, retinoaldehyde, retinoic acid does, is it forces your skin to function like it's younger. So it forces it to speed up the cellular turnover deeper down in the tissues. Whereas how alpha hydroxy acids work is, and polyhydroxy acids work, beta hydroxy acids work, how they work is they break up the glue on the surface of the skin that holds the dead skin cells together. So they both work on exfoliation, just one works more One works with your DNA. Vitamin A goes all the way down into the dermis and makes changes on a cellular level. It's a DNA issue. Whereas alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids, and polyhydroxy acids are just forcing the glue that holds your the dead skin cell tissues together to let loose, to help release the skin. That's why all of those ingredients are fantastic for retexturizing the tissues. A new retinoid alternative product has recently come out that I have talked about a lot called Bakuchiol. And the name of the product, there's multiple Bakuchiol products out there. The name of the ingredient is called Bakuchiol complex. It is derived from a plant. It's from the Buriti, or so, I can't remember the name of the plant, but it's in an extract from that plant. It originally was classified as a polyhydroxy acid. When it hit the market, more research was done on it, and they realized it actually functions exactly like retinoids in the skin. It truly is a true retinoid alternative. It fits into the exact same receptor sites as the retinoids do, but it doesn't make you sun sensitive at all. So you can actually use it AM and PM. I always think products like that should be used more in the PM, but if you want to use it in the AM, you can. For me personally, everyone's skin is different, but when I was using the Bakuchiol Complete by Cosmetics, when I was using AM and PM, it was actually over-exfoliating my tissues, and I had to back off and just put it in the PM. And you know when a product is over-exfoliating your tissues because it starts compromising your acid mantle, what's also known as your microbiome layer. So your skin starts feeling kind of chapped. It starts looking a little bit more red, starts getting a little angry. That is when you know that your microbiome or acid mantle is being flocked with, and you need to just back off on what you're doing. It very quickly and easily heals itself. The other thing though is that, especially as lighter skinned people, I know we don't like it. I totally get it. But that dead skin cell buildup actually gives us some sun protection. That is why when you exfoliate your face, it makes you more sun sensitive, because those dead skin layers that have built up are actually giving you some protection against the UVA, UVB, radiation, things like that. So it's totally up to you. I've had summers where I've done multiple things. I've had summers where I've used the retinoid alternatives all through the summer. Before Bakuchiol Complete came out, my most favorite one by Cosmetics. Just so you guys know, I'm a huge cosmetics girl. I've been in this industry for probably too long, 20 years. And I got into aesthetics because I am an ingredient junkie. I got in because of the science. I loved doing facials. I loved doing waxing, all that kind of stuff. But I got in because I wanted to understand skincare more. And what was happening when I was managing spas and I wasn't an esthetician, people would come in to buy skincare product and they wouldn't want to take my advice or listen to me as soon as they found out I wasn't an esthetician. And what would kill me was that I actually was the most educated in the spa on skincare ingredients and products, because my pastime, my hobby was literally researching skincare ingredients. I am a nerd about it. And so then when people would ask for an esthetician, I'd go get one of the girls, and then they'd get the person's information, and they're like, hold one moment. And then they would pull me aside and they'd be like, okay, Hari Prakash, so what am I supposed to tell them to buy? Because not as much now. Now estheticians are becoming much more savvy. But back in the day, estheticians became estheticians because they wanted to do facials and waxing. They were not drawn to skincare. They weren't intrigued by skincare. They weren't doing it for the skincare. And for me, it was the complete opposite. So cosmetics is truly the only line available in the United States that is corrective and plant-based. Now, is the entire line plant-based? No. There are some synthetic ingredients, and there are very, very few. They are in there, but there are very, very few petroleum, and there are a couple products that have silicone in them. I personally don't retail or use the silicone products, but there are some scattered in there throughout the line. But in general, it's the most corrective and most plant-based skincare line that I have found available in the United States to date. And I am always looking, I promise you. And I've changed people's lives with the product line. I've changed people's skin with the product line. When I first started doing all the talks and lives, I actually would talk about cosmetics a lot, but I wouldn't even tell people I was selling it because I didn't want people to think that I was only talking about it because I wanted you to buy products from me. I truly wanted you to think and believe that my recommendations were truly genuine. And then people told me I had to put my head out of my ass and start telling people I do sell it because COVID hit and we all had to make a living. So all the products I am going to talk about today are cosmetics. So the different options that you have. Before Bakuchiol Complete came out, my most favorite alternative to use was Defy. I used it all through my pregnancy and fell in love with it. And then it quickly became my favorite like summertime break product. Now my favorite one is the Bakuchiol Complete. The thing is with the alpha hydroxy acids, they are amazing. They are beautiful, but they also still make you a little sun sensitive, okay? Whereas the Bakuchiol Complete does not. So now the one I tend to lean towards is the Bakuchiol Complete. The thing with Bakuchiol is that it's always going to be in a lipid-based formulation because itself is an oil. So if you tend to be more normal to dry, Bakuchiol Complete is your go-to. But if you tend to be more oily, you've got that thicker kind of orange peely skin, lots of oil, Defy is still going to be your best friend because it's going to cut through that oil in a way that the Bakuchiol complex formulations cannot. So I've done multiple things. I've used the Defys in the summer. All last summer I used the Bakuchiol Complete and loved it to the point where I didn't stop using it in the fall, and I didn't even really go back on retinoids much at all this winter. And then the other thing is that you cannot use an alternative at all and just use exfoliating products at home and maybe bump up the exfoliation routine a little bit. So if you were only exfoliating with a treatment, so the products you use kind of more weekly, you don't have in your daily routine all the time, they're called more your treatment products. And in the wintertime, lots of times people will use like an exfoliating product like one time a week. If you're older, sometimes it's 2. In the summertime, you can bump that up and like add an extra night because of the fact that you're not using the topical products like the alpha hydroxy acid, the serum type, the ones that stay on your face all night. Because you're not using as many of those, you can kind of bump up the exfoliation to replace that. So there's not all different types. There's 2 different types of exfoliations that they're called. You've got your physical exfoliants, which are going to be your physical scrubbies. And then you've got your chemical exfoliants, which are going to be your enzymatics and your acids. Physical exfoliants were kind of like the standard for a very, very long time. We're kind of transitioning away from those. I would like to see more people transition away from those. They do cause some damage long term. Everyone loves a good scrub. I'm not saying you shouldn't do a scrub. I just don't think you should do a scrub more than like once a week max. The problem with the scrubs is over time, they can create a thing called mechanical telangiectasia. And telangiectasia is actually the condition that you get on your skin. People call them broken capillaries, but there's nothing broken about these bitches. They are alive and well and thriving. And it's when the skin feels like it's being damaged, so it will shoot up these like spider baby capillaries more to the surface of the skin. And then you start getting all these little broken capillaries. It's really common to kind of see them around people's noses, and you really see them up here like on the cheeks and things like that. And lots of the times they are caused by people over aggressively scrubbing their face. I also see it with my brother. He's a landscaper. And so for years he's worn, safety goggles and sunglasses. And he, as dirt gets kind of built up underneath the lens, he's swiped, and then also just the glasses moving on his face. So now he has like some telangiectasias, a whole like little line of them, like right here and right here on your face. You'll also see it like people who wear glasses. The reason why you see where they put their the glasses hit is because that pressure and rubbing of where the glasses sit on your nose, that causes those little telangiectasias to come up. So the other thing with the physical scrubs is if you overdo them, this happens with all exfoliants, but particularly the mechanicals, is that you can really compromise your skin barrier. And again, that microbiome. So a lot of people, especially when you have texture issues or you have acne, we get into our heads that we can just scrub our acne and texture away till the cows come home. And that's not how it works. Scrubs really only work. The scrubs are only working on the surface of your skin. That's it. Nothing is going in. This is why I got into chemical peels at 28 years old, because I couldn't figure out, I was using enzymatics and I was using physicals, and I could not figure out why I could not get the lines on my forehead to go away. My lines in my forehead looked worse at 28 than they do now at 43. The reason for that is you can't get the products at home. And I was even doing glycolic acid peels and it still wasn't working for me. So you just can't get the stuff at home, which is why you need to go in and start getting professional peels. Or, as many of you know, I ship peel kits, and in the fall, I will not do them now. You can order them from me, and we do them together, and the chemical peels are gonna help lift over those layers that are kind of permanently stuck on the face. Once you get that buildup to that extent, the only thing that's gonna remove it is dermaplaning, chemical peels, lasers, like stuff you have to go get done by a professional, stuff you can't do at home. So the first one we're gonna talk about is the mechanicals. I do, again, recommend you only use the mechanicals once a week. There is some exceptions to that, and we'll go over that today. So the 3 mechanicals that cosmetics makes, and the reason I'm saying there's 3 is because there's a brand new product out. Honestly, it just showed up on the website. I ordered it. It didn't even come in a box. I don't think it's going to come in a box because it has the ingredients and everything on the back. But these use a mechanical scrub. So the first one we're going to talk about is the glow mask. Okay. So the other thing about scrubbies is I personally hate chasing them around my face, like in the sink. I won't use them in the treatment room because they drive me insane. I'm not going to try to do a facial massage on you. There's no way you can get them all off. So it drives me insane and I don't use them in the treatment room. At home, I use them in the shower and in the bathtub. So glow mask sits in my bathtub. How I use this product is I keep a washcloth by my bathtub, and then I wash my face in the bathtub. I pat it dry with the towel, and then I put this product on. The benefit of this product, it's in a face mask, and you put the product on. This is how I tell people to use it. So I have them put it on, and I have them, like, I'm not scrubbing yet. I just gently move it around the face. This ingredient is very brightening and glowing to the skin. If you have like major pigmentation and melasma, it's not gonna like be life-changing for you. It's gonna help lighten and brighten you a little bit, but you really need to get on lighteners and brighteners and maybe do some chemical peels, some IPLs, thing like that to really get rid of the pigment. But what I do is I put this on my face like this, and I'll come back to this. I'll let it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes while I'm in the bathtub. And then as the skin drinks in the mask more, then I go in and scrub. And the reason why is because when you go to scrub it with this much product on, and you know, you're scrubbing it a little bit as you're putting it on, but you don't get that oomph, like it's kind of a light scrub. But once the ingredients, the actives, the lightening and brightens go into the tissues, it leaves just more of the scrubbies on the skin. So then when you go to scrub it in, you get a much more of a punch behind your scrub. One of the reasons why there's also scrubbies in this is because it's part of the delivery system to help the other ingredients get in. So as you scrub it, it helps the other ingredients go down deeper into the tissues. I gotta try to get this on my finger, okay? So we're gonna come back to glow. This is a great option. I don't recommend you do it more than once a week. The next one is Purity Detox Scrub. And Purity Detox Scrub is the product I was saying was the exception to more than once a week. But when you do it more than once a week, I only recommend you do it like as a spot treatment. So what this product is, it's a powder. You can hear it. It lasts forever, which is one of the things I love about it. It has powdered salicylic acid in it, which is why I think it's phenomenal. This is the best product for blackheads. If you deal with the blackheads and condition on your nose, the sides of your chin, and on this area, this is actually the product that will make the biggest difference. You do this in those areas if you really suffer from it 2-3 times a week, and you will not really have blackhead issues anymore. So you can do tons of things with this product. I keep it in the shower. Just so you know, if water gets into the bottle, it will completely ruin it and destroy it. You do have to keep it in your shower keep it closed, and you need to keep it out of the water stream. If that's not the case, you do need to keep it out of your shower. But you can either add it with just a little bit of water and make a paste and start scrubbing it around. When I do it, I scrub my whole face, my neck, my chest, and I even go down my arms. You can add it to a cleanser. If you put it into Purity Clean or RX Clean, it gives a huge oomph on that. It's even great in oil cleanser. Like when you put it in other products and not put it in water, it'll make the scrubby activity stronger and more aggressive. Because of the powdered salicylic, after I put it on, I do allow it to sit for like a minute or two before I rinse it so the salicylic acid can do its thing. When you mix it with water, it is going to foam up. And then when you mix it with other products, like in the oil cleanser, it doesn't foam up. In the foaming cleanser, it does foam up. The reason why you can use it more than once a week, or I recommend, is you can use it on your face and everything once a week. But if you want to spot treat with it, sides of the nose, and the chin area here, that's what I mean by you can use it more than once a week. I just do not think you should use it all over your face. But if you have the blackhead issues, you're going to want to. Okay, so this is the new product called First Blush. I only have 3 of these. They're not even on the website yet. So if you want it, you're going to have to message me and I'll send you an invoice. I will be getting more, but I want to see how it does. It is a shower mask. So how this one works, the other thing is that for $54, it's an insane deal because you're getting 4 ounces of it. You actually get a lot of product. So how it works is when you're in the shower and your face is wet, you put some out, and I should have brought in a darn cloth because I want to show this to you. It's like so hippie. Let me show it to you. Okay. So while your face is wet, you take this, look at it. It's got coffee in it. This is honestly the best scrub. So like, this is a phenomenal scrub. I love this stuff. But you remember the plastic beads that everyone loved that they had to take out of products because 1, plastic is evil. And 2, it was like killing all the fish, the little micro beads. And they had to take them out of the plastic products by law. This scrubbing action reminds me of that. It feels like that. So what you do is when your face is wet, you take this and put it on your skin. Okay. And then you let it sit for like 3 to 5 minutes and then you scrub it around and rinse. I mean, hear it. You can hear it. They're calling it it's called First Blush, and it's a brightening acai infused shower mask. It does have the walnut shells, but they're the round walnut shells. They are not the shards like what is in apricot scrub. I promise you it's different. Then it's got the coffee in it. It's got lemon peel extract. It's got more coffee. It's in 2 different forms. It's got aloe vera leaf powder. It's got the acai. It's lovely. This is the mask that I used yesterday in the shower. And then when I got on my stories and was ranting about the rude gentleman that I was trying to be kind to, and my skin like looked so bright and glowing, I had just done this product. Okay? Loving it. So that's the other product you can do like once a week. But it is meant for the shower. It's meant to be left in the shower. The reason, I think I already talked about this, but the reason why I tend to do scrubbies in the shower is that I can't stand rinsing them off my face over a sink. So those are your mechanical options, okay? Now we're going to go on to more of the enzymatic and the acid options, what is known as the chemical exfoliants. And these are more of my favorite because they're not mechanically scrubbing the face. They're either using enzymes to digest all the dead skin cells, like Pac-Man, or they're using acids that help penetrate and break up that glue, like we talked about, the alpha hydroxy, the beta hydroxy, the polyhydroxys, okay? So these ones you can tend to do more, okay? So the physical scrubs I kind of recommend once a week. These guys you can do up to 3 times a week, depending on your skin type. Now, I'm saying this gently. The majority of people should not be using an exfoliant like these exfoliants 3 times a week. The cleanser I'm going to talk about, RX Clean, can be, but I don't think people should use pure enzyme 3 times a week unless they have really oily skin or that has texture issues, or they're older, okay? I'm talking like 50s, 60s. Like I don't even use exfoliants 3 times a week on my skin. Well, that's not true because I love Awaken and pH. Okay, we'll get back on track. Alpha hydroxy, the enzymatics and the alpha hydroxy acid exfoliants is more 1 to 2 times a week for the majority of you. But some of the polyhydroxy acids can be used more than that. It depends on the product. And with me saying that, they're going to tell you on this first blush product, you could use it up to 3 times a week. I think it's a little overkill. But you do you. If you try using it and you're not having microbiome issues, then you're good. But again, you need to watch out for those telangiectasias. Don't do surgery on your face with scrubs. Okay, so of the chemical ones, the first one I'm going to talk about is RX Clean. This is one of my most favorite cleansers that cosmetics makes. It is truly a treatment cleanser. No one on the planet should be using this every single day. I only recommend that people use this 3-4 times a week max. When I was using it 4 times a week, over time, it was actually kind of compromising my barrier on my forehead, so I had to back off, okay? It has 10% lactic acid in it. How you use it is it's basically the big sister to Purity Clean. It's not green, it's white, but it has it's like 9.6% lactic acid in it. I do recommend that people shake this cleanser, just don't drop it because they tend to break. But you do want to shake them up because they do tend to separate. When you pump it out, it should be white and not clear. You have I tend to put this on my face dry with wet fingers. I massage it around, add a little bit more water if I need more spreadability. You want to let it sit for a minute or 2, and then you can rinse it off. The beauty of this product is it's a cleanser and an exfoliant in one, and it's not like an extra step that you have to do. It's not like a mask that you have to sit and wait and then rinse and then go back onto your normal skincare routine. When I took the summer that I didn't use anything in as an alternative in regards to serums, this was the cleanser I brought into my routine 3 times a week, and I tend to only use it at night. This stuff is amazing, and it will last you over a year using it that minimal amount. And this is one of them that's on the website that it's a physician form. It's in the Elite line, so it's going to send me an email and I can send you an invoice, okay? The next one that we're going to talk about is Pure Enzyme. So Pure Enzyme, my mom used to call this like a peel in a tube. It is enzymatic. There's no acids in it. Yeah, it's just enzymes. This is honestly one of the best cosmetics formulations that I think are out there. The ingredient index is not very big. It's very minimal. It has some very heavy hitters in this. It's got it's got the D-gluconic acid, which is I guess it does have a polyhydroxy acid in it. It's got the gluconolactone in it. It has, I want to say it's got superoxide dismutase. Oh, I'm a liar, pants on fire. It does have some lactic acid in it too. It's got a ton of cranberry in it. Like the cranberry is one of the first ingredient is the first ingredient water? My eyes are getting old. No, I think the first ingredient is cranberry, and then it goes into the lactic acid, and then it goes into that gluconic acid, then into superoxide dismutase. This thing is almost all actives with just a little bit of binders and fillers in it. It's a beautiful not purple. It's a beautiful hot pink berry color. You're going to put it on. You're going to let it sit like a face mask, and then you're going to rinse it off. Your face is going to be pink afterwards. It's very stimulating. It brings a lot of blood up into the tissues, which is why people love the results so much once the redness goes down. The other thing that people can do with this mask that is totally acceptable is once it's done working, it just shuts off. It's not going to do anything. So for some people who just don't have the time and don't want to deal with having to do a whole skincare routine, you can wash your face. You can put this one on. Put it on thin. It goes on thin. You can't even put this mask on thick if you want to. And then after it dries, you can just slap your face oil on or slap your moisturizer on and go to bed and rinse it the next day if you want. You don't have to rinse it off if you don't feel like it. The next one I'm going to talk about is Awaken. This is one of my most favorite masks in the cosmetics lineup. It's also an Elite product. It does have its main function is not exfoliation, but it does exfoliate your skin. It has the polyhydroxy acids in it. That's why I was saying, this mask you honestly could put on your face every single night and not have reaction issues with it. Partly it's because it's one that falls into the polyhydroxy acid category. And if you had watched my live or go back and watch my live from last week, I talk all about polyhydroxy acids. It's a large molecule. It does not penetrate at all. It sits on the surface of the skin. It's the acids that tend to go deeper into the tissues that you got to be a little bit careful about with the microbiome, like the RX Clean, the Pure Enzyme, the Purity Detox Scrub. Those have alpha hydroxy and or beta hydroxy acids in them. So those can, if you overuse them, can compromise your barrier. Whereas like Awaken, this is the mask I put on everybody post-chemical peel to rebuild their microbiome layer. It is loaded with minerals. It's very replenishing to the tissues. It's remineralizing. It's healing. I'm just seeing what some of the actives are in here. Oh, it helps if I go to the English side. It's got marine algae in it, which is where a lot of the minerals come from, the remineralizing comes from. So it's just very nurturing and soothing to the tissues. It's a mask that you can put on and take off after 10 or 20 minutes. It's also a mask where I've woken up on a Saturday, washed my face, slapped this girlfriend on, and literally just left it on my face all day hanging out at home, and I just rinse it off at night. It's not doing anything after it's done doing its thing, but because it's a gel formulation, it creates kind of this seal on the skin to where you don't feel dry, you don't feel the need to have to take it off. The other thing is that this mask really likes to be massaged in. So I don't use a brush to put it on. I will put it on, I'll let it sit for 10 minutes, and then lots of times I'll go back in, I'll get more product, massage in another layer, and sometimes I'll kind of do that throughout the day, just depends on my mood. So that's this guy. You really cannot overuse it. Then here's this one, the polyhydroxy acid hydrating peel that I talked about in my live last week. This is got a nice little punch to it for being a home peel, okay? This one is just polyhydroxy acids. It doesn't have like the remineralizing benefits and things like that. This one, you don't use it every night. I recommend you use this one about once a week. With long-term use is when you're going to get the best benefit because you really want that gluconolactone acid to build up into the tissues to get the best benefits out of it. But ideally, you're using this once a week, every other week. This is also going to help retexturize the skin. The thing with polyhydroxy acids is you don't feel them working. Because they're not penetrating, they don't feel acidic, there's no sting to it. So people who have rosacea, people who are hypersensitive, these are your two exfoliating products. They will change your life. Before polyhydroxy acids came out, we didn't really have an option for exfoliants for people who were super hypersensitive. And now that we have these polyhydroxy acids available, you can use them. So the last thing I want to say before I take any questions is, I want to go back to the glow. So see how the glow mask has gone in? So this is when I go in and I start scrubbing, and you get a much better scrubby effect when you do it that way. I think the scrub in this, don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure the scrub on this is bamboo pieces. And again, cosmetics make sure to source all physical exfoliants to be round. They're not getting any shards. So they're safe to use on the skin. They're not going to create any micro cuts into your tissues. When it comes to, you can do it with Awaken too, but I tend not to because this mask is just so nurturing and lovely, but you can. But with these three products, the polyhydroxy acid hydrating peel, the Awaken mask, and the Pure Enzyme, anything that is acid-based or enzyme-based, so the chemical versions, they're going to penetrate in more if you strip the skin like you would strip it before a chemical peel. And the reason why is when it comes to the acids and enzymes, they can penetrate deeper into your tissues if you have stripped the skin and removed the oils. When you go in and get a chemical peel, the reason why they do that stripping step is if you don't remove the oil, the peel cannot really penetrate and you don't get the results that you want. So if you go to like a dermatologist's office and some medi spas, I'm not joking you, they will strip your skin with acetone. Not me. Never, ever, 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 ever. So what I strip people's skin with is either the purity balance that cosmetics makes, or if I don't have any purity balance, or I've worked for clinics that don't use cosmetics, I will use isopropyl alcohol. You could also use witch hazel. It doesn't work quite as well. If you feel like the isopropyl alcohol is too aggressive, because it is, you can also dilute it with some water to make it less strong. If you can get some ethanol, ethanol is actually the better option to use. Ethanol is a ethanol alcohol. It is a humectant, so it's actually hydrating and brings moisture into the tissues. But you can use an alcohol to strip the face. So you can either cleanse once or twice. It's your call. You can strip the skin with something, and then you can put one of these more enzymatic, and this works for any skincare, okay? You can put on your enzymatic masks, and you will feel that it's more active, that it works better. And when you remove it, you'll notice that you got a better result. When I use the polyhydroxy acid, when I just like cleanse my face and put it on, I don't really feel much of a difference the next day. I know it's worked, but I mean in regards to like tightness and things like that. Whereas when I treat this like a chemical peel where I double cleanse and then strip and put this on, within a day or two, my forehead starts feeling a little bit chapped. Not a chapped as in my microbiome is being damaged. You know when the microbiome is being damaged because it's red and it's feeling chapped, okay? With this, it just feels kind of chapped, which means that's the layer of skin, like it penetrated even deeper, and that's the layer of skin that's gonna like flake off and slough off. It's not anything that you're gonna see. It's gonna come off as microflaking, or like when you're cleansing your face, it's gonna come off with washing, or when you use your fingers, if you ever start feeling stuff kind of rolling underneath your skin, that is not the product peeling, because we all know that product can pill and ball up. That's actually your skin coming off. So yeah, those are the options I would recommend, as if you're not wanting to use alternative stuff for the summer to keep your skin exfoliated. These are all more of your treatment products that you can use to help keep that beautiful glowing skin. And I'm going to answer some questions real quick that were sent to me, and I'm also going to open up questions for you guys. So the first one was, she said that she was going through major peeling and what products to help slough it off. So the thing is, I did message her, but I do need to know more. Like, are you just naturally going through a lot of peeling? Or like, did you do a chemical peel? Did you do a service? The two things that I would say work the best for sloughing things off, again, when you're sloughing stuff off, you don't want to use a scrub. Because if skin is lifting, the skin underneath is more sensitive and gentle, and the scrubs are going to be more irritating, can be more damaging. So anytime you're trying to get off stuff from the skin is like sloughing or peeling from a service or a treatment, you want to use more of the enzymatics. So pure enzyme was my go-to forever, but post peel or post laser, things like that, this can really have a bite and be like, hot damn, that's strong, which is why I've kind of switched over to Awaken. So this one will be more gentle, okay? Same with the PHA, you can also use this. So the best thing to use when your skin is releasing skin and it needs a little help along, use the little Pac-Mans, use the chemical versions, kind of stay away from the scrubbies until the skin has kind of healed itself and is back to normal, and then you can bring the scrubbies back in. What is the best for the back and chest? So when it comes to the chest, I use my skincare products. Like I would use all this stuff, okay? When it comes to the back, that's a really large surface area, and I tend to use more body style products. Purity Detox Scrub is amazing on the body. I use it on my body often. I will use this one. But you can also kind of just use, body scrubs will really help. You can put them on a back brush, or you can try to reach them on your own. If you're really in a pinch and don't have the money to buy stuff, you honestly can use baking soda. The tissue on your face is different than the tissue on the rest of your body. So you can be a little bit more aggressive on your body tissues than you are on the face. You're not going to create mechanical telangiectasia really on your body. The reason why you tend to get the mechanical telangiectasias on your skin, they almost always hit right here, and it's because you're hitting up against that bone. Okay, there's such a little tissue there. Whereas on your back and your tummy and your legs, you're not pushing that scrub up against a bone, so you're not going to create that telangiectasia issue as easily. And then the other question was how often, and we covered that. All right, so does anybody have any questions or have any feedback for me? Please leave your comments. I don't think any questions are up here. I didn't see any come through. Thank you, everyone, for joining me as always. So kind of all of you. All these products are available on my website. You can purchase from me. Again, if you want the first blush, just message me because it's not on the website yet. FYI, it's not going to come in a box. It just comes in the tube. It's $54 for 4 ounces. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Message me if you have questions. Light and love to you all. Mwah.